Hello everybody, welcome back to M1 Concourse Raceway here in the mitten of Michigan, and we are back in the car shows. And since it's the first M1 show of the year, a lot of car shows, so many I can't cover them all, even in a 17-minute video, but we're going to start off with the Diamonds and the underrated BMWs, the Z3M Coupe, brilliant little car that never gets enough recognition. Quite like it in black too. I only seen the blue one, but that's pretty good. This is better though, the BMW M6, the original M6, and it's brilliantly maintained. I think it looks stunning. Not so well maintained, but much more modified. We had this 3 Series racing car, sort of 24 hours of Nürburgring, stuff like that. More professional 24 hours of Nürburgring, the BMW 1M modified. Again, full roll cage, whatnot. Very strange exhaust and a very incredible diffuser. Sticks out more than almost as much as the exhaust, which is the good sign of aerodynamics. But BMW is not the only ones there. There were lots of Germans. There would be the AMGs, there were so many, but the GT did look the best out of the E63s and the C63s and whatnot. Porsche was also in full attendance. 911 GT3 RS, one of my favorite track toys on sale right now. You can't really beat it. More hardcore track vehicle, Cayman GT4 race car, the cup car. Again, never seen one of these before. Great. We have the rallycross version of the 911. However, we've seen this one a lot. But more to the point, we have not seen its little brother next to it, or should I say big brother, because that is a Porsche 911 Turbo with the iconic Martini livery and the racing body kit and everything. It also has roof wheels. I don't think it's a roof because I didn't have the right badging. However, it does have roof wheels. So, I spent long and hard trying to figure out if this was an actual roof. I don't think it is, but either way, it looks sick. It's probably my favorite car in show. Very close contention for something later on. But, brilliant looking vehicle. Nonetheless, whether it's a roof or a 911 or a roof 911, you don't really know. This is not a Porsche 356, this is a Super 90 replica from Brazil. Yes, I didn't know they made these. It's a very good replica, it's probably the best in the world, it's what the little plaque said on the front. I didn't know this existed, so the more you know, we learn something new every day. Moving on, sticking with the German theme here, we have the Toyota Supra. This is the Mark V. Don't worry, though, I had to make the joke, though. Don't worry, we did have the Mark IV, the far superior one, although I don't hate the Mark V. I think it's a great car. This is better, though. In fact, it wasn't the only Toyota there. We had the whole Toyota triplet family here. We had the Supra, we had this brilliantly modified MR2 custom wheels, again, brilliantly modified Celica ST205 World Rally Champion twice over, then got caught cheating, but this one has a carbon fiber hood, so it makes up for it, which is awesome. Also awesome, Toyota Land Cruiser. Again, tastefully modified. There was a lot of tastefully modified cars, not overdoing it, not underdoing it. Just the right amount. This was a bit more hardcore. I don't know how they fit that engine underneath the hood of that Toyota, but it's got a massive splitter, bigger rear wheels, and it looks, again, black paint, black rims is always a tasty combination. There were a lot of these Toyota Scion FR86s. There was a proper rally spec one, Dirtfish style, again. I'm a sucker for the rally modified, so this is always a win in my book, and the livery is very cool. Sort of red, white, and blue with like the paint marks on it. Awesome. Also a very cool livery, not a hideous rear wing. I'm pretty sure they stole the rear wing from a Civic Type R, but nonetheless, it's a cool looking Subaru, and this is a cool looking Scion because it's a very purple color. The colors were very vibrant today. I don't know why, but they were very vibrant. Not that I'm complaining about that, but I'm just saying the colors were ostentatiously over the top. I love it. There were so many neons and mattes and crazy color combinations. I was in heaven for the ridiculous sense. More traditionally, another tastefully modified Mitsubishi Evo 7, I believe, maybe a 6, either way. Mazda, also very well represented here. Mazda MX-5 race car, cliche, but iconic. Can't go anything wrong with it. Different type of Mazda race car, RX-7 drift missile. Unmodified, there was an actual stock car, the Datsun 240, which it's not a bad car to keep stock. Of course, you could also modify its older brother into, again, the tastefully modified were on top. There's no ostentatious wings or anything. It's just nice, crisp, and clean. Carbon fiber here and there, nice wheels, nice bumpers. It is perfection on the modification front. This is not modified. This is just a GTR Nismo. Haven't seen one of these in a long time. Looks pretty cool, not gonna lie. This, again, more ostentatious colors. I think it's a color changer depending on the light. It's I'm not going to say it's amazing, but it is unique and very vibrant. You can't miss it at all. It would be great to run away from the police from, and also terrible because they wouldn't be able to describe it. However, Honda was one of the real stars of the show with the Integra. Again, lightly modified carbon. I'm gonna keep saying it over and over, but look at these cars. They look great. They look like how I would modify a tuner car. Not over the top, but even the NSX had BBS wheels. I think what it is. So yeah, I mean everything was slightly modified. I don't think there weren't many stock cars there, but they were great to look at. They weren't over the top. I loved it. Speaking of stuff that I love, the Italians were on full display here. Starting with the Alfa Giulietta Quattrofoglio, or the 4C, or many, many other Alphas I'm surprised made it here without breaking down. Especially this one. This is a Milan V6 2.5 liter. Not a particularly well-conditioned one. It is a pizza car. However, I love seeing a obscure 90s Alpha. Not so obscure 90s Ferrari, the Testarossa. I guess that's 80s, but still. The widest Ferrari. Ferrari, if you like Ferrari, there were plenty here. It was the day of the Ferrari. Lamborghini was sort of meh. They only had some Huracans and maybe an Aventador. But Ferrari, they had the 458 Speciale, one of my favorite Ferraris of the last 20 years. It's brilliant in the flesh. They again had its little baby brother, the 360 Challenge Tridale 16M. Again, tasteful yellow, so one we saw earlier. F12 TDF, or F12 in general. I have never seen an F12. So this was a first for me. And although it should be red, it is a damn good looking car. I was amazed. It looks so much better in person. It actually looks better, in my opinion, than the 812 Superfast. It has a better name, so it's automatically better, even if this has, 900 horsepower in the new version, the GTO they're coming out with. But here's one I didn't expect. It has more power than that. Someone, very wealthy, I would imagine, brought the brand new SF90. Yeah. Chalk it up to things I never thought I would see until Concours. The SF90 Stradale Hypercar, 1,000 horsepower all-wheel drive, and the engine is mounted basically on the chassis. It's about a foot lower than the bodywork. I was amazed. I didn't even know you can mount an engine that low in an already low car. So, again, they somehow had to fit the hybrid system in there, I guess, but I was amazed. I did not think this car would look as good as it did in person, but it looks fantastic. Looks better in person than it does in pictures, which brings me neatly onto the British. They were the best looking cars. The Bentley was How the TR4? Not bad. I like the class, and not the TR6, mind you, but it is good. The Elise again, nothing special, but an Elise is an Elise. You can't go wrong with one of those. And I think this is branched as a Lola. Lola is a defunct British racing company. I don't think they made a road car. I think this is custom, but I'm not sure, so I'm grouping it in with the British anyway. Not liking the wheels, but the rest of the body is incredible. Speaking of incredible bodies, Opel GT, this time not rusty like the previous one I saw. Gorgeous blue metallic paint. And of course the flippy headlights are always a win, even if it is horrifically slow. I have not seen an Opel GT in that good condition, so. But if you want to talk the best of Britain, you have to talk with America and the Shelby Cobra, because it's a Shelby Cobra. One of the best cars ever made. Period. And they even, in a bizarre twist, had the modern Shelby Cobra, like the prototype, which is basically just a Ford GT the other way around, signed by the man himself, with the slickest slick tires I've ever seen. Apparently, the Pontiac Motor Museum was in attendance, so they actually brought some of their historic vehicles along, so I didn't think I would see this at a concourse either, but there you go, the Shelby Cobra prototype, 1 of 1, 2004, I believe. That's the second time I've ever seen that, but there you go. A more attainable Shelby, slightly, is the GT500. This is a 1967. They only made 1 year of 427. This is a genuine 427 67 Mustang GT500. You can tell that because it actually has Cobra on the V8, because they actually had spare 427s from their defunct Cobra project, and they're just like, what if we throw it in a Mustang? And that is the beautiful result that you see in front of you. So, sometimes you usually see 68 GT500s more, but the 67, that is where it's at. Full-on Le Mans engine in that thing. It's perfection. You can also have the modern-day interpretation of a very limited run GT350H in honor of the release date of the original GT350. I didn't realize they made these, so again, seeing one for the first time in person really does bring some perspective into your eyes. Also, we saw a fellow boss. It was the wrong color, so, you know, suck it, but he actually modified his for racing, so it's got a new splitter, it's got a full roll cage, it's much faster than ours. This one is much louder than ours, though. I've heard this one a few times. It is straight piped right out of the side. How much power does it make? I don't know, but it's got a full padded roll cage and a massive intercooler the size of the front of the car. So I'd imagine a lot. Yeah, there were a lot of modified Mustangs. Again, just like the JDM cars, tastefully modified, but not ostentatious. Very subtle. Of course, sometimes not modifying at all can be the best course of action with the 69 Mach 1 is perfection on wheels, pretty much. There were quite a few, if I'm honest. Too many to count, actually. There were perfectly normal ones, there were perfectly exceptional ones. But this takes the cake by miles. This might actually rival the Porsche in terms of best cars in show. You see, this is a road-legal SCCA Trans Am racer. So they took the Trans Am race car that's currently racing now, road-legalized it, sort of, and apparently you can drive it on the road. It's amazing attention to detail at the carbon fiber interior, the subtle panel work on the side doors, the fact it's actually road legal, and it's got the body kit and everything. It's so cool. How they did it, I have no idea, but it is amazing, and it's just an amazing feat of engineering, if nothing else. It's how they made it work for the road, we may never fully understand, but I love it. And it wasn't just Mustangs or even Fords that were in attendance for the amazement factor, if you will. Whether it be the Galaxy 500 Dragster for the family, or the 67 Chevelle SS 392? 396? 396. Or the much better looking SS 396 Chevelle. Probably one of my favorite looking muscle cars ever, right up there with the 69 Charger and the 67 GT500 from earlier. And this is a pretty close one for the crazy factor, the El Camino Ute, because who doesn't love a 454 Ute, although I think this is a 396 version as well. And then there were a lot of super muscle cars. I call them super cars, like the Corvettes or the Vipers or whatnot. There were a lot of Vipers, actually. I was kind of amazed because there were, you know, the Demons from the collection, there were Viper ACRs, there were classic Chargers I didn't get a very good picture of. I think this is a Hennessy Viper. I don't actually know. I think it has a Hennessy body kit. It could just be a normal body kit, though. Either way, there were so many to choose from, whether it be this 1-of-1 ACR Viper, part of their, you know, 1-of-1 program from the 3rd gen. And you can't go wrong with a stupidly massive wing or a stupidly massive engine in your Hemi-Cuda 455, your drag spec version in mint condition. that's worth a lot of money. I mean, I was honestly amazed on how many different muscle cars there were, whether it be Plymouths, Barracudas, CTSV estate cars. It wasn't one manufacturer, it was like the entire American auto industry showed up. Even GMC brought in their Typhoon sedan SUV. But god dear, if you want to talk about high quality cars, the SCCA Mustang Road Legal version is close, but I don't think anything beats this AMX. It was a completely bespoke carbon fiber interior and body, and everything. The tires are as big as road rollers, it's lower to the ground than a Lamborghini. The amount of detail in this car was incredible. But if we can finish off, we're looking at some of the oddballs, some of the cars that didn't fit into a specific category, like the Saab, which I would definitely take over the Ferrari any day of the week because it's a Saab, or the LS swapped Volvo from 2 years ago, I think, because speed can never be too slow, whatever that means. It's very fast, I would imagine, very terrifying, I would imagine, as well. Again, with the bizarre colors, we're keeping the theme going. The bizarre colors are in action. The Kia Stinger, good car, not really noteworthy, except for the fact it's neon blue. That's the only reason I took a picture of it. The wrap is visible from space. Or the 1923, I think it's an Eagle, something like that. Some American car from the 20s. It's almost 100 years old now. And it's got the rumble seats on the side if you hated your children. The fact it's still running, I saw it drive away, at 98 years old is amazing. But if you want to go to Russia for a second, more specifically communist Russia, they did actually bring a socialist Lada or whatever, Mraba. Yeah, damn communism creeping in everywhere, but it was an amazing show. I had an absolute blast on it. Whether you saw cars from the Soviet Union, the most advanced Ferraris, the most historic Porsches or AMCs, or hell, cars from 100 years ago. But this car here is the most perplexing. It's a Devon. I actually had to do research on this. I didn't know what this was. It's a low-volume American car, racing car company, that used Offenheiser Indy engines to race in sports car racing. I didn't know it existed at all, so I think to put a cherry on top of this, I learned about an entire new car company at this one event. But that will be it for this episode of Cars and Coffee, and I definitely can't wait till the next one.